Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headache stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need. What you need. We're broken, it's tragic. We're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness.
How you going? It's a bit dark here this morning. How you guys going? Out to lunch? How you going? You got 35 degrees Celsius over there, 95 Fahrenheit. Wow. Teresa said something new, chemtrails, smog, love and light from an old birdie. How you going, Teresa? Still pray for your enemies. Oh, I pray for Madonna. I do. Pray that she finds God. Before it's too late, really. Just say hello to everyone. Hey, I am Kai. Hey, Kevin Beckham, USA, SC in the house. Menacing Muskrat, how you going? And Brad, how you going? Okay, let me just go over to Twitter and then share screen. Oh, what's going on here? There we go. Can I make myself smaller? I noticed that the other day I was a bit big on the screen there. Okay. Let me go down to that size. I'm short anyway. So, okay. Dawn said he sounds incoherent in response to Drew Hernandez, who said, oh my God, this is so insane. He's gone, absolutely gone, JB. Okay, let's have a look.
I've long said, and I mean this, I was on the Tibetan Plateau with Xi Jinping. I traveled 17,000 miles with him. I've spoken with him more than any other head of state because it started when I was vice president, and President Hu was the president, and he was the vice president. We knew he was going to be successful. It was inappropriate for Barack to spend that time with him, but I spent a lot of time with him. I met alone with him, just he and I, and a simultaneous interpreter 68 times, 68 hours. 68 times, more than 68 hours. By the way, I turned in all my notes. I've long said, and I mean this.
What the hell was that? Seriously, what was that? Was he admitting, I don't know, what? He was hanging out with Xi Jinping? Travelling thousands of miles with him? I don't know. If you can make sense of that, let me know in the comments. Leah said, it wouldn't surprise me if Madonna was found unresponsive due to an overdose. I would imagine you've got to be on a lot of drugs to accept this as your face. Remember when she did this? This is what I mean by too much work. You don't need... Grow old gracefully, for God's sake. There's a lot of theories on why Madonna, but she does have a bacterial infection, and she was found unresponsive last Sunday, I think. So, but she is out of intensive care, I'm believing now. Linda Brown said, my friend who was flooded out of a home near Shepparton and is still living in a motel room just got an electricity bill. Okay, so the person was flooded out of their home in a motel room. Just got an electricity bill for $670. The power is off. No one is in the house. How does that happen? Because they're ripping people off. Oh, electricity companies will do that. It's bad, but they do. Matt Keane, I'm sure they have like admin costs and things as well that they just let accumulate, you know. I don't know how they can, but I know they would try any way they can to get money out of you. Matt Keane, MP, said, what a ridiculous display. ICAC turning a corruption report into a live TV event at Parliament House. Apparently Gladys Berejiklian, the one who was running New South Wales during COVID, has been charged for something. But yet Daniel Andrews, the worst one, is still roaming around doing his thing. This body deciding that serious corrupt conduct has occurred, but then recommending no charges be laid because there is no evidence? What the hell is going on? Here in Australia, we're just finding out our judicial system and the people supposed to be overseeing the government aren't doing their job. James Bradley said, I guess we just got proof that everything Donald Trump ever said has been taped by someone he trusted. Or that all of his residencies have been illegally bugged by the DOJ. Because, oh look, here's another leak. Back in 2020, when the White House became a scene right out of Julius Caesar, but it's 3 years later. Where are all these mysterious tapes coming from? But here's the thing, every time they leak something about Trump, I just focus my attention on corrupt senile Joe and crackhead Hunter even harder. Because again, why should I or anyone care what a former president supposedly did years ago more than I care that the current president is a traitor who took money from our enemies? It's just more common sense from your friendly neighbourhood conservative. God bless America. So there you go. But they're not even what they think they are. Seriously. It's come out today that the tape that they had, they're not even charging him with. Why leak it then? I don't know. Chicago Ray said, RT, if you believe everything Ashley Biden wrote in her diary about her dad Joe Biden. At one point she wrote, I'm so afraid of him coming in the shower with me that I've waited until late at night to take a shower. And that's one of the mild ones. Ashley Biden, diary, pages 67 to 68. Joey Manorino said, what's going on in the White House? Did Michelle Obama pay a visit? Oh dear. Now, a lot of people think it's from a CPAP machine. The marks on his face, like he needs oxygen or something to breathe, to live. I don't know, you make up your mind, but I don't think that's the reason. Like, as bad as he is, I don't think that's the reason. But anyway, I think it's oxygen. Alexandria Marshall said, why doesn't the press care about the hundreds of millions of dollars wasted by state governments when they built useless quarantine camps? They've been completely silent. Were they told to shut up? Probably. This is what they do though. They go and build things and do things and useless things. Like they're trying to build another airport in Western Sydney. And seriously, it's they're just wasting money. They're billions and billions of dollars when we already have an airport in Sydney. Danny Q, conspiracy factualist, said, yeah, because you can trust this government to F everything up. I'll never get this until I'm absolutely forced to. They can't keep everything safe digitally. 9 News Melbourne said the state government's mission to make driver's licence digital has hit a speed bump on its first road test. As is, I believe, a lot of things lately. A lot of the stuff they're doing or they're trying to do, they're having to put off. Joey Manorino again said yesterday when it came out that Donald J. Trump is the only president that is not descended from slave owners, Liberals said that being descendant of slave owners doesn't actually matter or mean anything. Therefore, you have effectively nullified the case for reparations. Oh dear. And Liberals, or well, most of the Democrat Party, I believe they come from a line of slave owners. That's just my belief. It's not, there's no proof. I haven't got any proof. Josephine Cashman said the Empire 2.0, UN unveiling the global plot of recolonisation. The Empire 2.0 refers to a global plot that revolves around the recolonisation of the planet. I am to shed light on the divide and conquer tactics which aim to condition everyday people into accepting the idea of First Nations and ultimately dismantling countries for the sake of global governments. How? 60 years of UN scheming to create First Nations, to divide and conquer, to asset strip, to steal the wealth. Maori tribal groups in New Zealand, Australian ones, to dismantle countries for global governance. The Empire 2.0, understanding the global plot. The Empire 2.0 represents a complex plot that goes beyond traditional notions of colonisation. It involves a treasonous plan to reassert dominance of apex globalists, the handlers of our compromised political class of co-offending useful idiots, aided and abetted by the United Nations system and the big lie media. They seek to reshape the world order in their favour. This plot capitalises on divide and conquer tactics. Apex globalists have created new divisions as they exploit existing ones to weaken nations and pave the way for global governance. Indigenous land acknowledgement, welcome to country. The global practice of Indigenous land acknowledgement and welcome to country has gained significant attention in recent years. While it's often presented as a gesture of respect towards Indigenous people and their connection to the land, there are sinister implications at play. This practice serves as a divide and conquer device, subtly conditioning the general public to accept the notion of separate First Nations, grooming us into becoming global citizens with no loyalty to our fellow countrymen, no nationality, belonging nowhere, with no allegiance to anything or anyone. They are trying to sever the connection to our forefathers and our history. They want to dismantle our connection to each other and our country. And just all the protests, land acknowledgements. This is worldwide, mind you, not just here in Australia. Dividing nations for global governance. By promoting the idea of separate First Nations through the practice of Indigenous land acknowledgement, welcome to country, the UN seeks to weaken the sovereignty and individual countries. This ploy aims to dismantle nations and consolidate power under the umbrella of global governance. The recolonisation plot is disguised as a gesture of inclusivity and respect, but its underlying purpose is to further concentrate power in the hands of apex globalists. The UN views Indigenous rights as collective, laying the basis for an end to Australian home ownership. The UN's agenda is for 80% of Oz to be given over by 2030 through UN native title. Native title carves up Oz into First Nations controlled by UN actors making agreements with corporate cartels to steal our resources to bring in UN global governance. This not only applies here but in the US, New Zealand and Canada as well. Are you seeing the gravity of this? Do you realise we're on the brink of losing our homes, our country? Renaming everything. As part of the Empire 2.0 agenda, the tactic of renaming everything is gaining traction. By altering the names of cities, landmarks and even historical events, the recolonisation plot aims to erase the existing cultural and historical identities of nations. This process is a deliberate attempt to maliciously distort historical facts by reshaping our social memory, our history, to control the people in order to control our wealth and our natural resources. A special moment, first time Uluru lit up to mark the UN's 70th birthday. Lovely. UN, we own Uluru. UN, we own the oceans. UN, we own the world, and UN, we own you. US completes renaming of 650 places to remove derogatory terms. Aren't UNESCO a bunch of, they go around assaulting people, apparently. Divide and conquer, conditioning the masses. At the heart of the Empire 2.0 lies the insidious tactic of divide and conquer. These tactics aim to condition everyday people into accepting the idea of separate First Nations, fostering a sense of division and fragmentation within countries. By emphasising differences, this plot seeks to undermine unity and allegiance, ultimately eroding the foundation of nations. Worldwide, a comprised political class of useful idiots funds Aboriginal imposters like Bruce Pascoe in order to implement these United Nations divide and conquer tactics. Disintegration of nations, a step towards global governance. One of the primary objectives of the Empire 2.0 is the dismantling of countries by breaking down existing nations. Proponents of this global plot aim to pave the way for everyone and everything governed globally under a centralised United Nations authority. This agenda seeks to replace national sovereignty with a system of global governance, ultimately consolidating power in the hands of a few apex globalist criminals. The Empire 2.0 poses significant implications for the world. It threatens the autonomy and self-determination of nations, potentially leading to a loss of cultural heritage, economic disparity, and political instability. Moreover, the process of dismantling countries and establishing global governance is likely to face numerous challenges, including resistance from nations aiming to preserve their sovereignty. The United Nations Human Enslavement System. That's exactly what is going on. Conclusion: the worldwide recolonisation plot referred to as the Empire 2.0 is a complex plot that requires critical examination. The practice of Indigenous land acknowledgement welcome to country, while seemingly innocent, serves as a UN divide and conquer device to condition the masses into accepting the idea of separate First Nations. This ultimately aims to dismantle countries and consolidate power under the guise of global governance. Additionally, the concept of renaming everything is another crucial aspect of this treason. It is vital to remain vigilant and question the true intentions behind these practices to ensure the preservation of natural sovereignty and cultural identities. See further, Real Richard Poe, how the British invented globalism. Modern globalism was born in Victorian England. The plan was to merge the British Empire and the United States into a single superstate. Oh wow, there's a massive thread in there. Okay, I'm going to bookmark that and I might read that one tomorrow. I wasn't expecting that. Wow. How far back do I have to go? All the way back? Okay, there we are. Okay, Malcolm Roberts said does not happen to hydro, I think he meant coal, oil, gas and nuclear plants. 150 years ago, humans were vulnerable to weather. Then coal and oil made us free from nature's storms and weather. Now dishonest parasitic billionaires living off solar and wind subsidies destroy our vital electricity sector to make us dependent on weather again. Steve Malloy said 14,000 panels, 5.2 megawatt community solar array in Nebraska destroyed by hailstorm last night, in one night. This doesn't happen to base load power plants. Ugly as anything, man. Seriously. And it's destroyed in one night. You can't say coal power does that in one night. And not only that, I'm hearing about the wind turbines collapsing, the whole narrative collapsing. Ms. Dingo said there were no Aboriginal names for our cities, simply because those cities did not exist then. What the hell has happened to common sense? I have no idea. It's escaped from everywhere. It left the building. Old Soldier said, question, if Gladys was corrupt for not declaring a conflict of interest, what about the TGA? Most of their funding is from Big Pharma. They locked you down, declared certain things a bad drug. What's the charges for the TGA, which is the, what is it? TGA. Therapeutic Goods Administration here in Australia. Yeah, so conflict of interest much? Mate said Gladys found to be corrupt. If we didn't have the toothless eye back in Victoria, Dan Andrews would be sending postcards from jail. But they also said they had no evidence and there would be no charges. So what the hell's going on? Teresa said, let's do this. Australia is only paying cash from the 3rd to the 10th of July. Anyone in Australia, I'd recommend this all over the world. From the 3rd to the 10th of July, lovely day that day. Yeah, let's use cash. 1 week. Everywhere. It's a challenge. My challenge to you guys. And to challenge other people to do it. Carly Bones said, what do you think caused the dent in Joe's face? I do think it's a CPAC. I really do. It's a big square dent. I think he's on oxygen. I think he's not sounding well and he's not looking well. Tom Fenton said Google drops its sponsorship of Pride and Drag Show after hundreds of workers signed a petition calling it a direct affront to the religious beliefs and sensitivities of Christians. The tech giant was due to sponsor a drag show featuring popular performer Peaches Christ at Beau Gay Bar in San Francisco, California. It pulled the show after hundreds of employees signed a fiery petition saying it violated the company's event guidelines regarding sexually explicit activity. So there you go. Let's have a look. What is this? Okay, it's dropped its Pride event after hundreds of employees signed a petition. Tech giant sponsors a series of LGBT events across the US annually, and this year the headline event was due to be the Pride and Drag Show at Beau Gay Bar, featuring a popular performance. I'm not even calling them. I'll call it Peaches, okay? But employees noticed Google removed the San Francisco show from its internal events page after a petition was launched. Hey, is that all it takes? People should start getting petitions going, opposing the event on religious grounds, according to memos seen by CNBC. Signed by a few hundred people, is that all you need? The petition claimed that Peaches' performance routinely sexualise and disrespect Christian values, while accusing Google of religious discrimination for sponsoring it. Ah, dear. Speaking about the 49-year-old drag queen, their provocative and inflammatory artist is considered a direct affront to the religion, beliefs and sensitivities of Christians. Well, yeah, if everyone else is going to get offended, go for it. The authors also demanded an apology from the organisers, saying they had complained to Google's HR department, people operations, alleging the venue violated the company's event guidelines regarding sexually explicit activity. Peaches, who shot to frame on the California drag scene following the launch of their night movie series Midnight Mass, in 1998 hit back at the petitioners, accusing them of promoting anti-queer and anti-gay rhetoric. Dear. Writing on Facebook, the drag queen said, this is another example of the really disturbing rise in anti-queer and anti-gay rhetoric that is using drag performers and trans people as scapegoats. Look, you were fine till you came after the children, okay? That's just the only thing where everyone's worried about, pretty much. Alexandria Marshall said half the state's landlords consider throwing renters out and selling up, unable to afford Victoria's controversial new land tax. We already have a land tax. What the hell happened there? Did they introduce... Oh, now they've introduced like a... Is it the Aboriginal land tax or something? Greedy governments demonise and exploit Australian landlords. Landlords leave and renters are left homeless. Gee, what a surprise. And I believe that's what they're trying to do here in, well, they're doing something similar, like, I don't know if they're trying rent freezes or what, but just, I don't know, give us a break. Rebel News Australia said former Australian Prime Ministers Tony Abbott and John Howard are among 6 prominent Australians who've joined a global group led by Canadian psychologist Jordan Peterson, known as the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship. Okay, well, John Howard made everyone hand in their guns here in Australia, so I don't trust him as far as I could throw him. Tony Abbott, well, I don't know. Tony Abbott would be the better choice, but this little man here removed our guns, made it illegal just for anyone to have one. Aussie Bot said Albo come to my town today and got booed the F out of here. Had to leave early. Nobody likes him. Hopefully he goes to more towns and finds out. Matt XR Patriot said 31 TB, terabytes? No? I don't know what it is. And you thought he just disappeared. Soon the world will know, and they'll know it's about to drop. Suicides everywhere. Suicide weekend, dead man switch. If you know, you know. Okay, this is another thing that I wanted to talk about. It does seem to be a lot of people dropping, and a lot of famous people lately. Now, we were told years ago that they would use the coof as a reason to go out so that they don't get exposed and for what they've done. So we know was also a suicide weekend mentioned, and a lot of people are kind of still waiting for that as well. So yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out. Because I don't necessarily think a lot of the people that are dropping dead are dropping from that. Maybe that might be the excuse they want to use, but I don't think they're all going. I think something's happening. Derek Bros said, remember all those military movements? They were drills. Remember the Russian aircraft yesterday? Russia has evacuated all personnel from the US. Have a great day. Get ready. It's going to go down. In a big way. General Michael Flynn said it's going to be biblical, so think of that. When you think of how this is going to go down, we were told it's going to be biblical. So just expect anything at this point, honestly. General Mike Flynn said if anyone from the government shows up at your home, apartment, homeless shelter, wherever you live and says they're here to help, they're likely lying. Don't answer any questions, gently shut the door or close the tent flap, tell them to go away and then turn off the lights. And go back to watching The Sound of Freedom starring Jim Caviezel film. You'll appreciate this advice, trust me. Been there, done that, and they lied through their teeth never again. Robert F. Kennedy said new documents show that CIA's MKUltra program targeted Indigenous and black children in medical torture experiments. Horrific. Tell us who the racists are again. I'm telling you, they're in the government. AMA said, here we go, we got another spike in the Schumann resonance. I don't even know what to think about this anymore. This is apparently like the heartbeat of the earth, okay? Like the what do you call it? Maybe the ether? I don't know. But this is what it's been behaving quite unreal lately. The frequency of the earth, that's what it is, the frequency of the earth. Okay, anyone who watches the whatever podcast, the girls from yesterday are doxing it. All the girls turned up apparently, all the OnlyFans girls and all that, you know, turned up in with their Instagram across their shirt, and the guy said no, that's not on. And he was willing to give them new shirts, but now they're doxing the studio, his apartment location. They're refusing to stop and take down the posts. If anyone knows their identity, please contact me privately. I'll have to pursue any and all legal remedies I may have available to me. And that's because I think one of the New York Post or New York Times wrote a hit article on him. So they're trying to get him taken down for showing what some young women are doing, and just like showing the left what they're doing. You know what I mean? Showing the left exactly what's going on, and they're making themselves look like fools. He's not making them look like fools. They're making themselves look like fools. Someone doesn't like it, and I have a funny feeling it's linked to the article that was done about him. Angry Aussie at Loves Australia said, so Thomas Mayo is not Indigenous. Voice led by a Filipino. Form of application for registration. This form is to be filled up in duplicate, and the alien is to attend in person with duplicate forms before the member of the police force in charge of the police station nearest to his usual place of abode. Felix Mayer. Filipino, nationality. Birthplace, Philippine Islands. Place of residence, Thursday Island. Wasn't born here, he was born in the Philippines. So there you go. And he's the one running the voice for Indigenous Australians. Bit sus, I think so. Kristen said, these 3 boys are missing, and instead of listing their gender as part of their description, their preferred pronouns are listed instead. Unbelievable. You've got to be kidding. Logan Hinson, pronouns he, him. Date of birth, June 11th, 2000. How are they? Look, if the pronouns are he, him, but it looks like a little girl, how are you going to find these kids? That's ridiculous. Dies suddenly, said breaking, Madonna's been rushed to a New York City hospital after being found unresponsive. The pop icon 64 was discovered at a residence on Saturday before being admitted to the ICU, where she was intubated overnight. Madonna donated $1.1 million to COVID research, the jab, and made claims that the jabs should be mandatory like gun because it saves lives. Oh my God, look at her. She used to look half normal. Is it hang on, I don't know. I did see people questioning this and calling her a he. I don't know. Cat Turd said, this is getting ridiculous. Breaking 911, Biden. It was inappropriate for Barack Obama to spend time with Xi Jinping, but I spent a lot of time with him. I met alone with him, just he and I, 68 times. 68 hours, 68 times, like we just heard him say. More than 68 hours. By the way, I turned in all my notes. You have a potato as a leader of the free world. This is just great. Patrick Webb said, breaking, dead senior JP Morgan board member and billionaire James Crown reportedly vowed to expose damning evidence regarding financial crimes involving Joe and Hunter Biden before unexpected death. Who would have thought? George said James O'Keefe just released a bombshell claiming that 60% of the ActBlue donations they investigated are coming from China. This means the Chinese Communist Party is literally funding the Democrat Party and influencing American elections. Where are the arrests? Where are the congressional hearings? Election Watch will be filing an official complaint with the FEC and a follow-up lawsuit against ActBlue. Every Democrat politician that was elected using CCP money should be kicked out of office. Breaking this down live. Democrat fraud exposed, TGS. There you go. So, just in case anyone wants to see that, I'll retweet that. Jamie McIntyre said a cure for long COVID. That's simple. Don't take the BS jab anymore. Long COVID exists about as much as short COVID did. It's called an adverse reaction to a certain not so safe nor effective, total unnecessary experiment that was put on the humans that requires such low IQ to still possibly believe in any BS spread by these globalist conspiracy theory fake news networks. $10,000 reward for the first unjabbed to get long COVID. Australian National Review. So anyone who does get long COVID, who hasn't had a jab, you can get $10,000 if you can prove it. Angelo Giuliano said Poland might finally get what it's been craving for, direct confrontation with Russia and subsequently Poland's annihilation. Some countries never learn. History should be their teaching, not Hollywood. Breaking. Poland has entered into discussions with Kiev regarding Poland providing Ukraine with its first ground-based long-range missile system. Poland could send Ukraine naval strike missiles which can engage naval and land targets up to a range of 250 kilometres. Yay! Dear me, you're going to learn the hard way. What has Ukraine got on the Polish government? Ashley St. Clair said Brian Krasenstein yesterday. Libs of TikTok took my comments defending naked perverts around children out of context. The Krasenstein brothers are at it again. Brian Krasenstein today. We should cancel Roseanne Barr, a Jewish woman, for this out of context clip making her look like a Holocaust denier. So what they've done is they've taken a clip from Roseanne Barr out of context to make her look like a Holocaust denier. But yesterday they were defending naked perverts around children. Watch those two men, the Krasenstein brothers. There's something wrong with them. But they're being paid to be, for their misinformation and their BS, honestly. Jackie Sharp said, so news has leaked that 95% of MPs haven't been jabbed. These people try to force you into getting jabbed to save granny. Remember all those fake ones that they had? Do you remember where the whole... It wasn't even done right. Anyone who's watched someone get a jab and then watched the people on TV get it, you could tell it was not real. These people try to force you into getting jabbed to save granny. Yet they chose not to. They chose not to. Why is nobody questioning this or angry that it was one rule for you and one for them? Rules for thee, but not for me. That's how they work. DOQ has little eyes there. Oh, just getting Rumble notifications. Kelly Ray said, I'm in Ohio and it looks just like this, but smells like burnt plastic. What is going on? Lived in Ohio for 47 years, not once ever have I ever experienced wildfires somewhere else in the United States or Canada or Mexico or anywhere else, making country roads in Ohio filled with smoke. Not once ever. Anybody else? Sure it's not chemtrails? That's all that was my first thought. Sure that's not like they're dropping something. I don't know. Maybe for Project Bluebeam, to make it look like it's on the ground, whatever it is. Sky News Australia said Herald Sun columnist Patrick Carleon said burglaries in Victoria have now escalated to the point where police advise family to leave their car keys near the front door. Are they kidding? Powerless. Victoria Police can't do much to prevent burglaries because they're too busy chasing what people say online. You know, the things that actually hurt people. The words. Whatever happened to sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Anyway, Victoria, if I were you, I'd protect yourself. That's all I'm going to say. Any way you can. Clandestine said, replying to someone, you still believe Russia is the aggressor? Which is why none of this makes sense to any of you. NATO and the US showed up on Russia's border when they promised they wouldn't, when NATO was formed. When they started conducting illegal biological research on Russia's border, putting Russian citizens at risk. The West are the warmongers, and you are brainwashed by endless oceans of propaganda while Ukrainian people are slaughtered. And he was responding to this. Ilya Ponomarenko. Okay, sorry, but facilitating an aggressor by denying arms supplies to a self-defending nation at war is neither pro-peace position nor non-alignment. It's called hiding one's head in the sand, to say the least. Yeah, well, Clandestine just pointed it out to you, mate. Wayne Dupre said, breaking. Madonna hospitalised after... Oh, well, I did read that now. Viva Fry said, I'm by no means the smartest person in the room, but I'm not the dumbest either. This pivot from the White House is shockingly, brazenly, corruptly dishonest. It's no longer POTUS has never spoken to his son about overseas business dealings. Now the president was not in business with his son. Of course, even this is shocking, brazen, corrupt claim is also a demonstrable lie. Not only that, apparently Hunter Biden is not even on the White House logs anymore. He just goes in and out as he pleases. Well done. General Mike Flynn said, I'm sorry, but people, and I mean everyone of age, must listen to Sheriff Grady Judd of Polk County, Florida. Remember I was talking about the Polk County Grady Judd, this officer. He's catching a lot of peds. This sadly horrific description of this Disney World employee is happening in many, many places around our country and the world. Is there a cabal of cannibals and psychopaths that exist? You bet there are. The sobering reality is that evil exists and we cannot refuse to close our eyes to it any longer. Are they the dredges of humanity? You bet. Are they from the poorer classes of society? Not at all. Pedos such as Jeffrey Epstein and many of those who travelled with him to his island come from all walks and classes of society. They use code words and dark websites as well as social media networks. A yoke around their necks and tossing them into deep water is too kind of a punishment. Everyone please watch your children. I don't know if I can play this. Pizza Peppy said these people are sick. Disney has a pedo problem. This was hard to watch. Let's have a listen. I haven't listened to it, so... Oh.
And then there's Paul Val. He's 40 from Davenport. He's married. He works at Disney World at Cosmic Ray's restaurant. In fact, he just recently moved to Polk County from Indiana, and he moved here specifically to work at Disney World. Well, you know, back in the day, they arrested Willie Sutton for robbing banks. He was a notorious bank robber. And they asked Willie Sutton, hey, Willie, why do you rob banks? And he said, well, that's where the money is. Well, why do people like Paul Vale work at Disney? Because that's where the children are. And they want to be around children. He had 540 counts of child pornography from newborns to 8 years of age. He also had videos. And he was a sadomasochist. There was photographs where they had tied up babies in preparation for sexual battery. There was one where a child was just weeks old where they had the child's hands tied behind her back. Can you believe that? A very young child with her hands tied behind her back. There's videos of a 3 to 6 month old being sexually battered by an adult.
I don't think I can listen to any more. I think you get what it's about, guys. I do suggest, okay, if you want to listen to the whole thing, I am going to retweet it. I have no words. And I think, yes, throwing in the ocean is too good for them. Seriously. Dr. Russ McGregor said we know the 5 Ocean Gate passengers are dirty WEFers. Some are multi-generational deep state. Obviously the question is, have they flipped and are currently in witness protection? Are they testifying against Epstein associates who ferried kids to Caribbean islands? Or were they taken out? Like, it seems like a lot of people are being taken out too because they know too much. Useful idiots, they're not useful anymore. Marta Maid said, remember when DC Madam Deborah Palfy mysteriously committed suicide before she could out her political clients? Then Epstein did the same before he could spill the beans. And then Epstein accomplice Jean-Luc Brunel did the same in his French jail cell. Punchline below. What is the punchline? The punchline is politicians don't have the capacity to pull off fake suicides in high security jails to keep themselves out of trouble. These incidents are not sex scandals, they're blackmail scandals, and the intel agencies behind them do have the capability to pull it off. Quite interesting. Joanne Leslie said, somehow I keep thinking, did you know Ghislaine Maxwell had training for a submarine license, pilot license, certified EMT, ROV plus 2 degrees? Know what Epstein Island had? An underwater submarine entrance that was below ground level. No flight records. Watch the water. Is this how they're transporting children now? Just a thought. More likely. Brian Cates, political columnist, said date Jeffrey Epstein was arrested, July 26, 2019. Keep that date in mind as you follow this thread. A drop on November 11th, hard to swallow, important to progress. Who are the puppet masters? House of Sod, 6+++, minus or equals $4 trillion plus. Rothschild, 6++, equals 2 trillion plus. Soros, 6+, equals 1 trillion plus. Focus on above 3. Public wealth disclosures false. Many governments of the world feed the eye. Think slush funds, feeder. Think war, feeder. Think environmental pacts, feeder. It all feeds into the eye, okay? All the money. Triangle has 3 sides. Eye of providence, follow the bloodlines. What is the keystone? Does Satan exist? Does the thought of Satan exist? Who worships Satan? What is a cult? Epstein Island. What is a temple? What occurs in a temple? Worship? Why is the temple on top of a mountain? How many levels might exist below? What is the significance of the colours, design and symbol above the dome? This is Epstein Island. Why is this relevant? Who are the puppet masters? Have the puppet masters travelled to this island? When? How often? Why? Vladimir Putin, New World Order, worships Satan. This is going to go through a lot of drops. April the 3rd, 2018, why is Epstein spending $29 million to bury the tunnels under his temple on Epstein Island? Problem, phones were allowed in. These people are stupid. Did the drop from November 11th light a fire under Epstein's backside? Did he try to destroy evidence? We were all watching. The next one on the 6th of April, his plane, who is she? Follow friends, friends lead to others, open source, Rachel Chandler. Child handler, that's what she is supposed to, known as. She'll come into things soon. Another drop on the 6th of April, 2018. Why is E so vocal against POTUS? Biggest connection missing, focus on friends. And they meant E. Was it Eminem? I think it was. Focus on friends 2, 1 female, 1 male, presidential pardon, 187 MS-13, purpose, 187. If a police calls a 187, what is it? Is that a... And here it is, Eminem with Rachel Chandler. How far does it go? August the 15th, 2018, SA access closed. The island access closed. Haiti access closed. North Korea access closed. China access closed. Russia access closed. Cuba access closed. Sudan access pending. Government SA US push. Syria access pending. Government Yemen access pending. Libya access pending. Main port closed. Limited. Somalia access pending. SA US push. Whatever they were using Epstein Island for, their access to the island was closed according to these posts, very likely around the time of the drop on November 11th, 2017, which seems to have prompted some frantic activity on Epstein's part. The next drop, March 13th, 2019. This is not just about trafficking. 1. Will the rich and powerful influence the court to prevent the unsealing? The tale of two. 1. A sex resort, non-temple resort only, trafficking drug underage girls. 2. A cult worship of evil temple. Class 1 to 99 Haiti. Pray for the victims. A lot going on. March 20th, 2019. Will the rich and powerful the same thing? Follow the attorney. Who took the pic? Who was located behind the camera? Trafficking is real. A lot of people will remember this photo. I can't remember who they all are, but I know Clinton's in there. March 20, 2019. Rachel Chandler. How many girls are waiting for the return to the boat? Who owned the boat? What does a handler procure? Is the handler one of many connected to Epstein? Flight logs reveal many hidden artifacts. RC. And that's that pic again. Yeah. Okay, what else? March 2019. Who is Rachel Chandler? Who is she? Child handler. March 20th, 2019. What high-profile elite people fund and provide Rachel with her photography studio? What is the studio used for? What is the studio really used for? Who has RC been pictured with? This goes far beyond spirit cooking models. Does anyone remember the modelling agency that I showed you where the models didn't look happy? Midland Modelling Agency. That's the one she runs. Selling people. It's not a modelling agency. On March the 20th, 2019, Epstein Island dungeon beneath the temple, torture rooms, openly flaunt across social media, untouchable. I remember that, the picture of all the screens on Epstein Island. She put it all over social media. This one here coming up. March 20th, 2019, Rachel Chandler had the possible Epstein Island security cam pic on her Instagram. I don't know. There you go. There's naked people sitting on buckets here. The naked people sitting on buckets near I can't tell what that is. Is this one part of Frazzle Group? I don't know. There's other things going on here too. A lot of people think this looks like Hillary Clinton. I don't know. The next one on 25th of March 2019 said, do you believe in coincidences? Nope. And there you have it. Now you're all caught up. Have you now seen everything the community had seen at the time? He was arrested on the 6th of July 2019. You're welcome. Well, because I'm a giver and I'm in a fantastic mood, I'll throw in the first time the team mentioned Epstein the pedo king after his arrest drop on the 8th of July 2019. Why is JP Morgan running scared? Now we find out. Connect the dots. That's why I can see everything that they said is coming true. I've got to get out of this one. Okay, out of that one. Here we go, yep. Interesting thread, I'm going to retweet that one too. Vernon Jones said to Stacey Plaskett, heat a hot fire so hot for your foe that ye burn yourself. Now here you are tied to Jeffrey Epstein and lied about it. Lee Fang said new court filings show Dell's Stacey Plaskett, DVI, I think so, one of the most popular Democrats on MSNBC, not only lied about her years-long fundraising from Jeffrey Epstein, she also literally worked for Epstein's shadowy tax and political influence fixer before entering public office. Who would have thought? I believe we're gonna find a lot of these type of people work for the government. Trump's nephew said Hillary's emails, Wiener's laptop, the Epstein tapes, Hunter's hard drive. What exactly has the FBI been doing? Wouldn't we all like to know? They're too busy going after people that don't agree with the current government. The Gateway pundit said new details on Epstein's suicide released by DOJ watchdog. Well, I think they said it was a suicide. Oh, God. Okay, where are we? New details about his suicide was released in a DOJ watchdog report on Tuesday. The Justice Department Inspector General determined in its report that Epstein's death was indeed, he took himself out. The DOJ IG blamed Epstein's taking himself out on the jail guard's negligence and misconduct. The medical examiner who performed the autopsy detailed for the OIG, Office of Inspector General, why his injuries were more consistent with an indicative of a taking yourself out by hanging rather than a homicide by strangulation, the report said. The medical examiner also told the OIG that the ligature furrow was too broad to have been caused by the electrical cord of the medical device in Epstein's cell, that blood toxicology tests revealed no medications or illegal substances were in Epstein's system. The medical examiner also noted the absence of debris under Epstein's fingernails, marks on his hands, contusions to his knuckles, or bruises on his body that would have indicated Epstein had been a struggle, which would be expected if Epstein's death had been a homicide by strangulation, not if they drugged him first. Not if they drugged him first. A new Justice Department Inspector General report details the failures that occurred beginning 1 month before Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide. I'm not going to read any more of this because they're still saying he did. No, he didn't. He didn't kill himself. In January, prosecutors told a judge that the missing surveillance footage outside of Epstein's prison cell on the night of his suicide attempt in July had been found. Prosecutors then told the judge the surveillance video has been destroyed due to a record-keeping error. I don't think they can keep their story straight. Even worse, the backup system for video surveillance wasn't working due to technical errors. How convenient. Do you believe in coincidences? The requested video no longer exists on the backup system and has not since at least August 2019 and as a result of technical errors. I'm sure there were. I'm sure. Oh, come on, mouse, work. So they found that he took himself out even though most of the world knows that he didn't take himself out. See, look, even Juanita Broderick's saying he did not kill himself. Did someone on the client list order his demise? Why else would it still be a secret? And I was searching for, obviously, by all of this, you can see I was searching for things on Epstein. Liz Crokin said Jeffrey Epstein had law enforcement, intelligence agencies and other powers that be wrapped around his finger, which has been well documented via open source information. No one believes he committed himself, and the evidence backs that up. If he wasn't murdered, he's escaped and is still alive. If so, I just hope that the good guys put him in some kind of witness protection, since he was a high-risk target and he's not drinking margaritas on a beach somewhere. Let's hope not. Now I'm getting YouTube. I'm getting notifications. Jeffrey Epstein made a phone call to his mum the night before he died in prison. Only problem, his mum died years before. We don't know who he actually called, but the DOJ says he and this person talked about dental floss. The DOJ's new report says that his taking himself out is marred by a series of coincidences. Do you believe in coincidences? How many coincidences does it take for it not to be a coincidence anymore? That's a big one. I have to go back out of that. So yeah, there you go. But they said he was talking to his mum, but then his mum died years ago. Seriously, in what world does this make any sense whatsoever? AussieBot said I was permabanned just last week at the request of Kevin Rudd for this tweet. Epstein's mate. The censorship isn't to protect Australian citizens, it's to protect their corrupted rulers. Kevin Rudd caught up in an Epstein donation scandal. Former Australian Prime Minister. The one that looks like Mr. Sheen on the can of the furniture spray. Former Australian Prime Minister Kevin Rudd has been forced to address revelations that his think tank received $650,000 in donations from Jeffrey Epstein. What is this? Stop welcoming me to my own country. What's going on here? Two of the best are gone. Megan, a lot of people are still being deleted somehow from Twitter. Too, apparently. Ian Yeager said, breaking, Ghislaine Maxwell says she will release the names of 8 high classified individuals who worked with Epstein. We heard this months ago, didn't we? I support it, yeah. Release the 8 names and the rest. But we heard this months ago. Stephen said, well done to Clive Palmer for saying he'll fight the Ministry of Truth in court. Show your support if you wish that all patriotic parties unite to form one party. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see all the patriots join and become one party with Pauline Hanson and Malcolm Roberts and anyone else who wants to stand up for Australia properly, honestly. News.com says Sydney siders have been urged to put aside cost of living pressures and hop on a train to the CBD to help revive the city's disseminated nightlife. With what? Exactly. With what? We are asked to put aside the cost of living. You can't put aside the cost of living pressures. You're not going to pay your house, it'll get taken from you. You're not going to pay electricity, it'll get turned off. You're not going to buy food, you're going to starve. But hey, go out and just enjoy the nightlife. These people are insane. It's sad. 10 p.m. walk shows Sydney is dead. That's because people don't have the money anymore. Matt XRP Patriot said anyone noticed lots of billionaires are dying lately? Made a list for you. Probably nothing. Abhay Vakil, 6.2 billion. Arnie Wilhelmsen, 2 billion. Aloisio de Andrade Fari, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but 3 billion. Alberto Bellieres, 8.6 billion. Alberto Romers, 2.4 billion. Alan Goldman, 2.8 billion. B. Wayne Hughes, 3.3 billion. Benjamin de Rothschild, 1.4 billion. Yeah, I don't know if these numbers are actually correct, but anyway. Billy Joe Red McCombs, 1.7 billion. Clement Fayette, 1.2 billion. Carol Jenkins Barnett, 2.3 billion. Carlos Ardila Luel, 2.3 billion. Chuck Bundrant, 1.7 billion. David Gottsman, 2.9 billion. Donald Floss, 1.7 billion. Dmitry Bossov, 1.1 million. Dietrich Mateschitz, 220 billion. It's a bit. Edward Ned Johnson III, 10 billion. Edmund Ansin, 1.4 billion. Need a drink. Eduardo Conjango, 1 billion. Eli Broad, 6.9 billion. Ennio Doris, 3.4 billion. Fayez Seraphim, 1.5 billion. Fong Young Hua, 2.2 billion. I'm sorry. Gordon Moore, 6.8 billion. Herbert Collier Jr., 8.8 billion. I'm sorry. Heinz Herman Thiel, 12.9 billion. Heidi Horton, 2.9 billion. John Martin, 1.2 billion. Julian Robertson Jr., 4.8 billion. Jose Luis Cutral, 1.9 billion. Joseph Safra, 25 billion. Juan Lope, Belmonte Lope, I don't know, 1.8 billion. John Arrillaga, 2.6 billion. James Crown, 10 billion. Kim Jong-ju, 10 billion. Lily Safra, 1.3 billion. I'm laughing because I have trouble with these names. Lo Si Tong, 1.3 billion. Leonardo Del Vecchio, 24 billion. Lee Mantat, oh dear. Why am I having this problem all of a sudden? 17.5 billion. I can't read this anymore. Lee Kun-hee, 20 billion. Masatoshi Ito, 4+ billion. Mahendra Prasad, 2.2 billion. Majid oh my goodness. Futtaim, 4.2 billion. Manuel Maroon, 1.7 billion. Manuel Hove, I don't know, Hove, 2.5 billion. MG George Mathut, 3.2 million. Michael Price, 1.2 billion. Sorry, if I'm saying million, I mean billion. Montri Jaravanant, 4.7 billion. Nari Geminol, 1.2 billion. Oliver Dassault, 4.7 billion. I shouldn't be reading these names. I'm probably butchering them. Onzi Sawiris, 1.1 billion. Parky Oncha, 3 billion. Palonji Mystery, 15 billion. Peter Buck, 1.7 billion. Peter Kellner, 17.5. There's a lot of people, billionaires, dying. Pierre Bellin, 4.2 billion. Queen Elizabeth II, notable 500 million, so they say. Roberto Ongpin, 1.1 billion. Robert Brockman, 4.7 billion. Rakesh, I've got no idea. Rakesh is worth 5.8 billion. Rudy Mars worth 2.5 billion. My mascara's probably running all over my face. Robert Toll is worth 1.1 million. Rahul, 8.2 million. Randall Rollins, 5 billion. Sumner Redstone, 2.6 billion. Sunak, I didn't think it was going to be this long. Sunar Kirak, 2.2 billion. Dr. David Barkley, 3.7 billion. Sheldon Adelson, 35 billion. Sheldon Solo, with no money behind him. Stephen Betchell Jr., 1.9 billion. Tang Sing Bo, 4.7 billion. Trail Engelhorn, 4.2 billion. Ted Lerner, 6.6 billion. Te Hong Piao. Tom Love, 5.5 billion. Thomas Lee, 2+ billion. Oh, don't do this to me again. Didn't I just say his name? Te Hong Piao, 5.5 billion. Vito Rodriguez, 1.3 billion. Valentin Gabonsev, 2.8 million. Walter Scott Jr., 4 million. Winarko is worth 1.1 billion. Whitney is worth 4.3. That's Macmillan. W. Galen Weston, 7 billion. Zhu Hui, 15 billion. I'm sure I missed a few. This isn't even counting the millionaires, such as the ones who just died on the submersible that visited Titanic. 2 were billionaires. These names are getting me. Shahzada Dawood and Son, $360 million, Stockton Rush, $25 million, Hamish Harding, $1.1 billion, and Paul Henry Nargiolet, $1.5 billion. You're telling me these very wealthy people went down on a toy sub controlled by a game controller? Things just get more interesting the more you look into them. Daisy May said a local council's become the latest to announce that spending ratepayers' money to back a yes vote. That's why our roads aren't getting fixed. Sydney's Randwick Council allocated $28,900 to backing the yes campaign for The Voice. But the sum is dwarfed by the City of Sydney, which plans to spend more than $500,000. They're not allowed to do that. They are supposed to fund both sides, yes and no, but they are not. They're funding the yes side because that's what they want to push. Chris Baxter said, having read the Australian Communications Legislation Amendment Combating Misinformation and Disinformation Bill 2023, I'm outraged. So am I. Never have I felt so positively livid with the Australian government, not even during the jail time lockdowns. As I read the bill tonight, I've posted a series of tweets pointing to clauses people who care about their freedom of speech, people who believe men cannot be women and Christians should be particularly wary about. I will compile this info into submission to government. In the meantime, here are my tweets in a single thread. 1 out of 9. Has anyone had a look at the newly proposed Australian Misinformation Disinformation Bill? Just started reading it and already note there's no exclusion to its application to religious content on digital platforms. That is, any digital platform that allows biblical views which unbelievers view as misinformation can be, i.e. will be, fined. Ironically, government content is excluded. So they can do all the misinformation, disinformation. Look, they want to be the only ones doing it, right? It's the government's job. 2 out of 9, look at the definition of harm in the newly proposed Australian Misinformation Disinformation Bill. If this bill gets passed into law, item B will be used to hammer any speech that goes against the government narrative, endgame stuff for digital freedom of speech in Australia. Disruption of public order or society in Australia. Number 3, the new Australian this bill gives a free pass to the MSM, professional news content, to publish whatever the hell it wants to. But you likely purveyor of mis and disinformation, you will shut up and bend the knee. Professional news content means news content produced by a news source who is subject to any of the following: the rules of the Australian Press Council Standards of Practice or the Independent Media Council Code of Conduct, the rules of the Commercial Television Industry Code of Practice, the Commercial Radio Code of Practice or the Subscription Broadcast Television Code of Practice, rules of a code of practice mentioned in paragraph 8(1)(e) of the Australian Broadcasting Corporation Act or a paragraph blah 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 of the Special Broadcasting Service. Rules or internal, so we can't even have an opinion. In case we are misinformation, disinformationing anyone. Has editorial independence from the subject of the news source's news coverage. Yeah, I'm an independent. Anyway, new Australian bill. Oh, I hear you stream your church service, good minister. Minister, sure do. What's it with you? Bill, sorry, that's misinformation now. Off it goes. Minister, but it wasn't even on YouTube. Bill, I was satisfied your website met the provisions. Goodbye. The minister may, by legislative instrument, specify that a kind of digital service is a digital platform service if the minister is satisfied that it is appropriate to apply provisions of this schedule to the digital service to provide adequate protection for the community. Get it? Number 5, Christian, do you believe the Bible? Do you want to communicate an idea about that on a digital platform? No, you will use email. Australian Disinformation Bill. Exclude services for misinformation purposes. Emails, a media sharing service that does not have an interactive feature. A digital platform service specified by the minister in an instrument under subclause 2. The Australian government believes men can be women. There's no way in hell they will regard our public thoughts stemming from a biblical worldview as anything other than misinformation. The Australian bill must have an exclusion for religious content. It's ridiculous. When we saw the Twitter files, we were shocked. When the Australian government saw the Twitter files, they had an idea. May I present to you Clause 16.2 of the Australian Misinformation Disinformation Bill. The ACMA may give the provider a written direction requiring the provider to take specified action directed towards ensuring that the provider does not contravene digital platform rules made for the purpose of Clause 14 or is unlikely to contravene in those rules. Oh, God. The ACMA, Australian Communications and Media Authority, will have a new power to drag ordinary Australian citizens in front of a misinformation kangaroo court under Clause 19 of the new bill, or kangaroo or clown courts. There you go. Number 9, under SV 40 of the new Australian bill, ACMA will unilaterally decide whether Australian citizens have enough political freedom of political communication. Never mind precedent, never mind common law. Okay, disregarding any provisions of the code that are not affected, whether directly or indirectly, by the variation, the ACMA considers whether the code as proposed to be varied burdens freedom of political communication, and if so, whether the burden is reasonable and not excessive, having regard to any circumstances the ACMA considers relevant. So government control gone berserk. Is that... Oh, okay. Got to go back one more. There we go. Okay. Chuck Costello said, breaking report, new Hunter Biden WhatsApp messages show him demanding $10 million from Chinese energy venture, whose billionaire chairman is now missing. Oh dear. See, that's what I mean. I wonder how many of these people are getting taken out because they're not useful anymore. Kate said, power to the people. The WA's government's new Indigenous cultural heritage laws were due to take effect from the 1st of July this year. However, the guidelines published on the Department of Planning, Lands and Heritage website have been updated to show a revised date starting 2024. That's what I mean. It's not working out for them. I don't know what's happening, but things are getting pushed back. Yeah, I agree with that. Ban porn on Twitter. Why is porn on Twitter? But also, kids shouldn't be on Twitter either. I don't believe kids should be on any social media whatsoever. Not YouTube, not any social media. It's destructive for the mental health. Senator Babbitt said the Australian public education system is designed to create obedient, mindless workers, intelligent enough to run the machines but not intelligent enough to understand the systems of control and their place within the matrix. Sounds like George Carlin. The last thing those who corrupted this institution want is intelligent, free-thinking people who know how to learn. The education system programs minds. It doesn't free them. Yep. I would agree with that. Ms. Dingo said, why hasn't the amount of time Aboriginals have been here gone up yet again? Or why has it? Now they're saying 65,000 years. Total BS. Goes up all the time. It was less than half of that originally. Yep, they keep saying they've been here for 20,000 years, then 40,000 years, then 60,000 years, now 65. Oh, my stomach's growling already. Jesse Waters said the left rediscovered the importance of fatherhood, all thanks to Joe and Hunter Biden. They've been trying to dissolve the nuclear family for decades, but now that Joe's kid's in trouble, they say it's important. A father stands by his son. Because they're working together. Democrats think Hunter can't be held responsible because he was a little helpless drug addict. So are a lot of people who get locked up. They don't get away with that excuse. Why should Hunter? But this helpless addict ran sophisticated tax dodgers, fraudulently concealed income for years, has had run-ins with the law and IRS for decades. We'll have new details tonight at 7 p.m. on primetime. That's Jesse Waters. Laura Loomis said, I don't know how many times I need to say this. F Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy is an effing evil snake who's working to sabotage President Trump. He's never liked Donald Trump. He wanted to send Donald Trump to prison. He's allowed for Biden to get away with all of his crimes. He allowed big tech to steal our election, he sabotaged Donald Trump's allies, and he's now telling his donors to support Trump's opponents. Kevin McCarthy needs to be banned from ever having another any interaction with President Trump. I'm furious and I'm going to work against all McCarthy allies. Enough of this BS. Kevin McCarthy is Donald Trump's biggest enemy. Kevin McCarthy must be removed from power. There you go. Mick M said this BS about a treaty, any treaty they sign is null and void. The historic Mabo decision in 1992 rested on the fact that Australia was settled, not invaded. They can't have their cake and eat it too. There was no war, so no treaty is necessary or lawful. Mate said, if you think for yourself, the Australian government are terrified of you. That's why they're attacking your right to freedom of speech. They want you to obey and applaud their every move. We will not be silenced, no, and I'm not going to applaud and obey their every move. They can go and shove it. News.com said an ABC reporter has come under fire for falsely claiming Indigenous Australia is subject to ongoing genocide. ABC reporter, bizarre genocide claim. Only genocide going on there is by their own people. Marcus said, when will it ever stop? Now they want to rename Brisbane. This will absolutely occur across all of Australia if the voice gets up, and it won't stop there. What are they going to name it? What were they going to name it? Megan. Okay? Apparently, Brisbane's going to become Megan. Yet they had no cities before Mr. Whitey got here. Tim Young said, a second IRS whistleblower has come forward about the Hunter Biden case. Good. I hope he's safe. Are these people safe? Are they being kept safe? Liz Churchill said not a single person is dying from climate change, but they're all dying from all the pathogens and diseases being created in Ukraine bioweapon labs that the villains of the World Economic Forum, Pfizer and Madonna created. Clandestine said the reason I've been laser focused on the biolabs in Ukraine since 2022 is because the US justice system is compromised, and this crime provides us an avenue to circumvent the US DOJ via international military tribunal. Russia and China claim Obama, Biden, Hillary and Soros are the top ideologues behind the US biological network in Ukraine and have accused these individuals of crimes against humanity. Russia and China have been trying to enact Article 5 and 6 of the BWC for over a year now, but the US, UK, France always veto any investigation by the Security Council. But theoretically, if this investigation were to happen and the UN Security Council were to confirm Russia's findings, then the top globalist players on Earth would be subject to face an international military tribunal and face the death penalty or life in prison. Here we go. This is why I'm obsessed with the biolabs, because I believe this is our most direct and effective route to accountability for the genocidal deep state actors. And most importantly, the prosecution would be coming from outside our borders, from the highest governing body on Earth, would require consensus via the militaries of all the world's superpowers. Thus, the public media could not claim this is politically motivated by Trump, because it's not Trump. It would be the entire world via the UN. This is I don't know if I trust the UN. This is our best opportunity to cut off the head of the deep state snake. This is why all our tax dollars are in Ukraine and why Biden can't have Zelensky surrender. Their lives are at stake. So there you go. Yeah, actually, what did they say about that? You know, the US is the UN is a globalist. Where'd that go? Interesting take and worthy, but I'd be sceptical of the UN overstepping authority into a republic. There you go. The UN is a globalist entity, you know that, right? The UN is a body made up of almost all the countries of the world. It's not a deep state entity. It's made up of many deep state controlled countries. Russia is part of the UN. All we need is the leaders of the big 5 countries were to agree to hold the investigation. Legally, this is the way. Okay. Yeah, I'd be very careful of the UN. Bob said, plot thickens. Here's something just as salacious. Labor splashed $350 million on the Doom Voice referendum in the recent budget. More money being wasted, more taxpayers' money being pocketed by these people. It's another money laundering scheme. But referendums only cost about 150 million. Even a sloppy, dodgy Labor referendum shouldn't cost more than 200 million. So what's the extra cash for? Their pockets. Dom Lucre said on February 1st, Jessie Marie Zebatar's name appeared on a witness list for RICO attorney Stephen S. Biss. Zebatar recently claimed to have witnessed Hillary Clinton attacking children in a really bad way. In the affidavit of Jessie Marie Zebatar, she claimed that as a child she witnessed former Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton direct her protectorate to chain children to the floor and scald them with hot water and assault them, whereupon Clinton ripped the gland out of the child's head and ate it. That's not what I heard. We heard that the face was missing. They took the face off and wore it and taunted the child with it. That's what we heard. I don't know. Oh, what did I like that for? I don't think that's right. I don't know. Is that what it was about? Because Frazzle was something else completely that we heard anyway. Tom Fitton said by refusing to appoint a special counsel to investigate Biden family corruption, Garland conveniently avoids having to issue mandated reports to the public and Congress, such as on the sham Hunter agreement. With the new whistleblower report, we now have sworn evidence the US Attorney Weiss said he had asked for but was denied special counsel status by Garland DOJ. Garland denies this outright, but prior NY Times reports suggest that Garland is being misleading. Last week, in response to my Judicial Watch criticism of Garland's failure to appoint a special counsel, the New York Times reported Mr. Garland never seriously considered appointing a special counsel, in part because they were not deemed necessary in prior investigation of presidential family members, according to a former law enforcement official familiar with the case. Besides being dishonest, special counsel Mueller investigated Trump's family. The leak suggests that Garland had been asked and rejected a special counsel request. Perhaps an impeachment inquiry will clear this issue up. Don't know. Malcolm Roberts said Queensland unprecedented snow and ice increase. Do climate experts claim that as evidence of global warming, climate change catastrophe, climate Armageddon, or dismiss it as weather? Nature's truth and reality destroys globalist predators' manipulative fabricated alarm. Tony Hellis said that unprecedented snow and ice increase on the surface of Greenland's ice sheet continues, with 100 billion tonnes of new ice accumulating since the start of June and 600 billion tonnes since last August. Climate scam. There you go. Angry Aussie said, no wonder Thomas Mayo blocked me. Imagine if I shared this. What an absolute moron to post this. No wonder Albo is in meltdown. Is the power of a collective. Imagine more than 200 legitimate, accountable to the people, First Nations reps coming together regularly to make resolution on any matter they choose. And he's a Filipino. He's not even Australian First Nations people. Yeah. A politician or party that ignores or legislates against the collective voice will do so at their peril because we will be organised and ready. That explains the whole voice, yes, voice thing. Organised and ready. Paid, well paid. The Cooker King says, I guess when you do sweet FA, except drink beers, take selfies, fly in and out of the country, push some racist referendum and socialise, eventually people will wake up to your BS. Isn't that right, Albo? You useless little parasite, never worked a day in his life. And it's responding to Sky News Australia, who said the Prime Minister's popularity continues to take a nosedive as new polling shows almost half of voters think Australia is headed in the wrong direction. Duh, I could have told you that. Could have told that 10 years ago, actually. Anyway. Nasty One Reborn said, I call BS to this Uluru statement and people trying to tell us all that this was a sacred site to all Indigenous people. The only people that would have known of it was the tribes that lived near it. Not every tribe in Australia knew of it or did a walkabout pilgrimage to it. Full stop. Clive Simpson said, I think seeing Rachel Levine parrot the lie that trans kids will take themselves out if they don't receive so-called gender-affirming care is the most egregious example of taking oneself out weaponisation I've ever seen. I'm shocked but not surprised to see a man who waited to transition until he'd had his family not only seek to deny children of their own future family, but also threaten parents that their children will die if they refuse to go along with it. How is this even remotely acceptable from one of the highest placed doctors in the USA? Not only that, there are reports that there are more taking themselves out after they've gone through with the change. In a sane world, a politician uttering these deranged and dangerous lies would be forced to resign. But Rachel is covered in trans Teflon, which means nobody will even have a word with him about it. Least of all that doddery, dementing old man in the White House, the potato. Thank God there are women and LGB people standing up against cult ideologues like Levine. I'm glad to call Midwest Homo 77 one of my online friends who's doing sterling work in Missouri to counteract this nightmarish medical scandal. That's that Levine who's got a weird... dresses up like a lady. Dude looks like a lady. Joey Manorino said the Democratic Party elite is absolutely scared shitless by Robert Kennedy Jr. The problem is not that Kennedy is a conservative, because he isn't. The problem is that Kennedy is competent. And at this point, to be a Democrat, you're one of three things. A person who supports pedo and Marxism, a person who's willing to overlook pedo and Marxism, or a person too ignorant to realise you're supporting people who support pedo and Marxism. There's no place in the Democratic Party for true anti-war, pro-free speech classic liberals whose happen to support old-school democratic values. It doesn't exist. Kennedy wants to bring the party back to a more sensible place where voting for them was actually somewhat respectable. The Democrat Party elites have made a deal with the devil and can't take a chance that they'll go back now. Do I believe that Biden is a pedo? Yes. Do I believe that Biden is a Marxist? No. But his administration is ushering in cultural, societal and fiscal Marxism by the day. Why? He is the perfect leader for the Democrat Party. He doesn't know any better. He's too mentally lost to actually push back on any of it. He signs the papers, goes back up to the residence and watches Lawrence Welk's reruns. He's who they want as their nominee. Once the Marxism is ushered in and people truly realise what's been done, Biden will be out of office and probably dead. Remember, he's 80 years old. But the deed will be done. America will be a nation of Marxism. Then the truly evil bastards like Gavin Newsom can take over and run the system as it is. He won't bear the brunt of blame for the Marxism because Biden will be that person. He'll be gone. The job isn't fully done yet, but they're almost there. Kennedy's not a conservative, but he also isn't a Marxist and isn't willing to watch the political party that his family name is synonymous with be the vehicle through which Marxism is brought to America. He's running to save his party from completely taking this country off the deep end. So no, I'm not supporting him because I don't support the Democrat Party values today or of yesterday. I'm a fiscal conservative, and the most fiscally conservative option I have will come from the Republican Party. But I truly respect and applaud Kennedy's mission here. The man is going up against a machine that murdered his uncle and his father. He's doing it without fear. He's doing it with honour and integrity. The Democrats most certainly won't let him win because they won't give him a fair shake. But his noble mission is a truly American one. May God bless him. Yeah, I see what they're doing, but still, I'd still go Trump. Senator Gerard Reddick said, get a load of this government overreach. She is taking the pee if I've ever seen it. The government is excluding themselves from their own misinformation laws along with their mates in the media, who of course will aid and abet any propaganda the government wishes to push. Furthermore, this paragraph will force us to comply with the voluntary code even though we haven't signed it. A classic piece of doublespeak if I've ever seen it. And that's part of that bill they want to bring in, communications bill. Content that is authorised by the Commonwealth or a state. Tim Young said men who expose themselves to children used to go to prison, not parades. Avi Yamini said Albo thinks Aussies are dumb. The media's on his side and be ramming the Yes campaign down our throats. It turns out calling everyone racist isn't as effective as he imagined. because he blames the media for a huge drop in support for the Parliament voice. He reckons that people get more media time when the yes are being advertised all over our media. Oh dear. Okay. Nick Adams said, with the sole exception of Donald Trump, every living president is a descendant of slave owners. Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Hussein Obama. Why am I not all surprised the Obama family was founded on slavery? Okay, Liz Churchill said it must be a coincidence that from 2003 to 2023 there wasn't one case of malaria spread by mosquitoes, and along comes a company funded by Bill Gates to solve a problem that didn't exist, and suddenly in the exact places where he releases mosquitoes there's an outbreak of malaria. Apparently he let GMO mosquitoes out in Florida. Old Farmer said, this is the ABC Indigenous reporter who claims to be Aboriginal. She stated there is genocide. So this lady actually claims to be Aboriginal as well. I want to see blood tests and paperwork. Oh, okay. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there because there's a lot on the voice. But I don't think they're going to be able to pass that voice. Okay. Where are we? Oh, can I get back to the beginning? Oh, yeah, I think yep, I can. Okay. I Am Kai's there. Storming up there, I Am Kai said cloudy and wind over at Fort Campbell. We've been getting wind, a lot of wind here in Australia. Very windy. Kevin said, good morning, Hev, and all in the chat. Must be cold in the mountains today, Hev. Yes, it was 0 all night since about 7:30 last night. 0 degrees Celsius, and it's about 2 at the moment, maybe 3. Hey, Menacing Muskrat. Beckham, hi, Hev. Finally found my way back. Good to see you again, you too, Beckham. Okay, out to lunch said South Carolina. SC, yep, South Carolina. Brad, how you going? Maybe she has Kuru. Dan Markle Senior, how you going? Hi, Hev, God bless all here. Brad said dumbest character in the movie. Kat, how you going? Things are heating up. Kat said she fake Madonna posted calm before the storm. I saw that. Something weird is going on. I thought I bookmarked it, but I mustn't have. Randy, how you going? Kat said, other than that, greetings. Hey, Missy T, how you going? Good to see ya. Out to lunch at airport to hide a dumb entrance. Randy said, many gas stations here, debit was down for a few days, only cash. That's why I keep saying, have cash on you, have cash on you. Which reminds me, I've got to get whatever cash I've got out of the bank. Liz, how you going, Liz? George, how you going? I Am Kai said, one alien attack and people will beg for global control. George said, New World Order. I am Mrs. Kai. How you going, Mrs. Kai? Hi, everyone. Menacing Muskrat said, wow, hi all. Okay, go down. Luna, how you going? Glad to see you made it. With the TGA, BRDEA, maybe. The Therapeutic Goods of Australia is what they do all our pharmaceutical, what's allowed and what's not. Menacing Muskrat said, yeah, you made it, Luna, great to see you. And everyone's saying hello in there. Just making sure I don't miss anyone. I Am Kai said, now if they make this a holy war, I deeply pity the enemy. Menacing Muskrat said, events are coming out so quickly every day, there's so much to process, one must take a break from it all, but such a great time to be alive. Out to lunch said, BlackRock buys them up. David, how you going? George said, BlackRock owns so much, a dodgy company. I Am Kai said, BlackRock owns most of the planet. Most of planet Zero. Darren, how you going? Darren said 31 TB, dead man's switch refers to McAfee. Oh, 31 terabytes of... Okay, cool. Thank you, Darren, for explaining that one to me. I am Kai said it has to crash and burn to show the masses. I am Kai said the human resonance is a real life force. Kat said faux Madonna. Faux Madonna, yeah. I don't think it's surreal. She looks too different. Completely different. Looks like some sort of, I don't know, it looks like that Saul puppet. Was it Saul? That thing with the rings on its cheeks. I don't know. Swirls on its cheeks. And I'm hearing that Gavin Newsom might be taking over for Joe Biden. Gavin Newsom a few years ago had those triangle swirls on his, was it his Facebook or Twitter account? Can't remember, but one of them. So watch out for Gavin Newsom. He's another pedo. George said, this pronoun crap is getting out of control. Yep. Kat said, Madonna was a he. I can see that now, but recently it's an imposter. Darren said, Biden also said he has sold out national secrets and other stuff. Yes, I did play that yesterday, the day before. Did I? I'm sure I did. I am Kai said, time to carry a cordless hole puncher. Nursing Muskrat said, that weekend, 1933, August 26, 2018, 1431, May 20th, 2018, and 700 Feb 2018. Kat said, yes, saw that human frequency, need more energy now. Darren said, I agree, George, if you don't know a boy is referred to as he, him, then you need to go back to play school. Selena said, I'm behind, however, CPAPs don't leave marks like that, at least from my experience. Okay. I am Kai said, if in danger you could call me anything and I wouldn't mind. Darren said, from what I've seen, the Schumann resonance is a range of electromagnetic waves that the Earth puts out which bounce back off the ionosphere and have an effect on everything on Earth. Yeah, it's like the Earth's frequency that it runs at. The force. The Schumann resonance is the force. May the force be with you. Darren said it can be manipulated to cause weather irregularities and affect our thoughts. George said, leave a note under the keys saying, feel free to steal my car, lol. Yeah, like, seriously. Nicely Glover said, hey from Columbia, South Carolina. It's great to be with you all again. I hope you are each doing well. You too, Nicey. How you going? Good to see ya. Mrs. Out to Lunch said, hello, Hev. If you could send a little of cool air our way, that would be great, lol, because it's hot, hot, hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot. Although I'd rather be hot than cold. Glad to hear your mum is doing better. Hey, everyone. Yay! Yes, she is. She's doing much better at home now. I don't know. Maybe every now and then she needs, I don't know, something from hospital. Would it be a drip or something that's all she needs? Because I'm trying to give her hydrolytes, the electrolytes and everything. She goes, I don't like it. Okay, but it's good for you, Mum. They're hard. I am Kai said those people should be ended. Miss Out to Lunch said there are a lot of sick people in this world. Definitely. So, hey, Selena, how you going? I am Kai said it's how they did it then too. Nicely said, oh Lord, comfort and heal those poor babies. I was a foster parent for 8 years and helped 21 children recover from abuse. My first child was 16 from an Amish family. We still have weekly contact. Oh, good on you, Nicey. That's lovely. Those poor kids. Yeah, I am Kai. 187 is unaliving. Unaliveness? Yeah, that. Nicely said, with love support throughout healing, children can recover. Yep. I am Kai said, a human hands. George said, evil runs this world. Herschel said, remember Oprah's tunnels? Yes. And how you going, Herschel? I am Kai said, on buckets because their rear ends are destroyed. Herschel said, remember CIA head meet several times with Epstein? Yes. I am Kai said, EPI's earlobes were connected. The corpse had free earlobes. Epstein's, yep. Sherry said, sorry I'm late, guys. Had a big storm trying to coax my ducks to come out of their house. They're scared. It was a scary storm. Everything okay, though? Good to see you, Sherry. Herschel said people affiliated with Hillary shot themselves twice in the head. That's perseverance, yeah. And hung themselves, too, after doing the shot. One person, didn't they shoot themselves in the chest and hang themselves? Or hang themselves, shoot themselves. Yeah. It's like stabbing yourself in the back of the head 10 times. Or just in the back. Yep. I am Kai said there's no such thing as coincidence. Miss Out to Lunch said there's been storms everywhere. Sherry said, hey Kai, and Timmy, how you going? I discovered this in an hour in. You nearly got there on time, Timmy. Timmy says, I am Kai. Sherry said, second bad storm in 2 days, Miss Out to Lunch. Carl said, I'm late, or are you early, Hev? No. Timmy said, why is Hev crying? Oh, that was funny. Miss Out to Lunch said, bless it, hopefully no more. Timmy realised, oh, she's laughing. I am Kai said, laugh my ass off. Yeah, I was trying to pronounce people's names and I was laughing my head off because I couldn't do it properly. Out to Lunch said, pronunciation is a bitch sometimes. George is laughing at it too. Nursing Muskrat said, Shannon must have written the billionaires list. Haven't sent. Darren said his wife is Woman Tat. Oh, those names, honestly. It reminds me of something. When I was very young, okay, and I went to this... Oh, I won't say it. No, I won't say it. This Asian man had me laughing my head off anyway. I was high. Yeah, anyway. Miss Out to Lunch said all those billionaires got her upset. Now, all I know, that's a lot of money. Out to Lunch said, glad I'm not a billionaire. Menacing Muskrat said, it's a big club and we ain't in it, George Carlin. Yep. Timmy said, as she reads this, I think of the aircraft crash and CNN anchors were reading the names of the pilots, some Ting Wong. That's exactly what I was thinking too, Timmy. Like, just that, what am I going to read next? Like, seriously? I'm a bit, yeah, funny on Asian names for some reason. Menacing Muskrat said, hello, Georgia Brown, how you doing? Darren said, now I know why I'm not a billionaire. You can pronounce my name. Out to Lunch said, yep. Oh, God love you, Timmy. Have the past 3 live shows you've done, you've signed off before I was able to donate. Are you still accepting mail? R.A. your mum? Does she have any mineral imbalance? If so, I have a few suggestions that work for many at the clinic. By all means, thank you, Timmy. I really appreciate that. And by all means, I don't have my post box anymore, but you can send me an email with suggestions if you could. That would be great. So yeah, I'm sorry. I've just kind of been quick with the last couple of live streams. So, oh God, love ya. Thank you so much. Where am I up to? But yeah, please feel free to email me, Timmy, with any suggestions you may have, because I'm trying to get, the hospital said she needs to take vitamin D. She's not going outside. So she's not getting any sun at all. She's not even opening her curtains anymore. So she's not getting any vitamin D, not even filtered. So, yeah, if you could, Timmy, email me if you can. Where am I up to? Nursing Muskrat said, Timmy, yes, I remember that. Mockingbirds all the way. Sherry said, lol, Timmy. That was at the Something Wong, that reporter reading out the names of the plane crash victims. And it's awful to laugh, but like, I don't mean to disrespect the people, but I'm just finding me trying to pronounce these names quite funny. Menacing Muskrat said, hello and welcome, Sherry. How are you today? Good, Menacing Muskrat. JJ, how you going? Menacing Muskrat said, I'm awesome. My husband and I are building a deck. Get the painting. Oh, good. Good on you, Menacing Muskrat. You get the painting job. Darren said, that means your phone messages are a digital platform too. Sherry said, painting is fun sometimes, hard on the shoulders though. Yeah. I had to change a light globe the other day, right? And I pulled my neck and shoulders out because I had to look up and my arms were straight up above my head trying to... Because what happened was, it wasn't that simple. I was trying to get that light, you know, it's got 2 prongs on it, the bayonet ones. You push it in and you turn it. Yeah, well, I couldn't push it in far enough and turn it. I thought I had it in, put the cover back on, went about cooking, and then heard a pop and a ding, 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 ding. The light globe came out of the socket and landed in the cover. So I had to get back up there again and take it down and try and get this thing in and turned, because it's sideways. It's not straight up and down my bayonet thing. It's sideways. So without being able to see properly, because I'm so bloody short, I had to try and feel where the bayonet bit was and then push it in and turn it and then put the thing back on. And I hurt myself doing it. How stupid is that? Anyway, so I'm doing aerobics again. Hadn't done aerobics for about a week. So that's what happens when I don't do aerobics. I start to freeze up and... so I get the hard on your shoulders, especially if you're painting up high, Sherry. Menacing Muskrat said Trudeau is getting booed and heckled everywhere he goes. He just waves and smiles. Crowds are saying wave if you're a pedo, and he smiles and waves even more. Oh, hey, Demelza, how you going? Long time no see. Good to see ya. Menacing Muskrat said, hi, I am Kai. Bruce has been putting out some great info. Wow. I am Kai said, so much going on in the sky. I hope ET busters us for giving them a bad name. Try not to burp at people this time. Demelza said, hi, George. Menacing Muskrat, everyone. I am Kai said, I'll just say being drunk never got me any slack. George said, George Carlin was a brilliant comedian. He was. Menacing Muskrat said, Drainochrome and ambrosia have been around for thousands of years. Protect our children, all children. Yes. Menacing Muskrat says, Sound of Freedom, July the 4th. That's what I thought. I've been thinking about July the 4th. Is it possible? Possible. I am Kai said, Carlin was desperately shaking the sleepers. I am Kai said, June the 4th, this planet may go crazy for a few. Anything we suffer to save the children is worth it, and then some. Yep. Yeah, if we think we're suffering and we think, you know, come on, hurry up, hurry up. Think of the poor kids, man. Like, seriously. George said the planet's been crazy for a while. Yeah, quite crazy, says I'm Kai. Menacing Muskrat said July the 4th will be crazy, but November the 5th, 2024 will be even crazier. Remember the 5th of November. Yep, V for Vendetta. Hey Pat, how you going? Euthanasia laws being passed for most states. Look out, this is not good. Yeah, don't go near hospitals. Not if you're old anyway, or actually if you're really... Oh, that sucks, doesn't it? You can't go near a hospital. You might be sick and you might need one, but you can't go near one. I'd just go anyway and honestly get my family to say, no, don't you dare euthanise. And someone to sit, bodyguard, to sit there. Take what rotations. Do it in rotation. One member sits there for a few hours, another one comes in. I'm Kai said, yes, indeed, November the 5th. Menacing Muskrat said, oh, yeah. George said, bring back Guy Fawkes. Darren said, gunpowder, treason and plot. I am Kai said, best case scenario, we volunteer many hours to help rehabilitation centres. Menacing Muskrat said, yes, Darren, been on a slow boil for a very long time indeed. Menacing Muskrat said, Guy Fawkes. I am Kai said, those cards at the Bush funeral were a poke at them to make them act. Menacing Muskrat said, Jeb Bush shut his drawers. George said, does anyone remember the V series? I've been watching it again, lol. I remember hearing about it. I've never watched it. I am Kai said, the files and leaked tape were planted by our side. Now there you go. I am Kai said, I remember V. Willie was my favourite as a kid. Menacing Muskrat said, yes, V with the woman with the dark short hair, right, George? I am Kai said, just recently there was a mini-series, the aliens ended up looking exactly like winged demons. Pat said, with all those billionaires, why do we need charities, foundation, money raisers and only 8 billion people in the world? Menacing Muskrat says she was a reptile, right? Out to lunch, said, as Rachel cut that hair. Cut the hair off? George said she had dark hair, Menacing. Yeah, she was a reptile. I'm Kai, said Muskrat. Yes, I was also caught by the Battlestar Galactica reboot. Menacing Muskrat said, Pat, it's their club and we ain't in it. They do their rights, etc. Dan Muckle Senior says Obama tells him what to do. Yep, in his ear. Menacing Muskrat said, Kai, I'm still stuck in X-Files. Shannon, g'day from the Riverlands, South Australia. I'm Kai, said Shannon. Shannon said Trump is using Kennedy to wake up Democrats who won't listen to Trump. That's what I think as well. Darren said, hi, Shannon. Menacing said Obama wanted his 3rd term, so he's running it from his basement through Joe the Clone. George said, never watched the reboot of Battlestar Galactica. Oh, jumped. Where was I up to? Okay, I found where Shannon came in. Shannon said, morning, evening all. Ben Menacing Muskrat said, Shannon, how's socks? George said, hi, Shannon. I'm Kai, said George. You simply must. The ending will make you think. Damn good story too. Shannon said, saw socks right up a tree at full speed this morning. Menacing Muskrat said, did you follow, lol, Shannon? I am Kai, said it could easily stand alone as a rewrite. Shannon said, I don't have a death wish. George said, I like the original series, Kai. I am Kai, said we're waiting for heavy storms, but nothing yet, just a threat. A retracted message from George. I am Kai, said I can see as disclosure of our arrival here. It's good that and that different from the original. Shannon said, so many sneaky live shows, Hev, it's the quickening. It is. Menacing Muskrat said, we finally got rain here today. They're super dry. Guess what's going on? I've got my own earth moving machine. It's called the Turkey. I cannot believe how much earth he has moved, and I'm going to have to do a video of it. How much earth he has moved from around my garden. It's amazing. He's a little earth mover, and so far it's ridiculous. Menacing Muskrat said, we finally got rain here today. We are dry. Shannon said, hope you're all following X22. I forgot to watch him the last week or so. George said, what is X22 report, Shannon? It's on Rumble. Yes, there you go. Menacing Muskrat has put a link in there. Please follow that person on Rumble. Please, if you have to set up an account just to follow that person, I'm serious. But follow me too, because if anything ever happens here, that's where I'm going next. I'm not going to bother here anymore. Menacing Muskrat said, George just dropped X22. Yep. Menacing had just dropped X22. Darren said, I only just got to the thought of her tunnel out of my mind. You only just got the thought of someone's tunnel out of your mind? Oh, Oprah's. Sherry said, thanks, Menacing. Hey, Leisha, how you going? Menacing Muskrat said, you're welcome. Thanks, Shannon. Shannon said, Leisha is drunk, lol. Leisha said, I love Dave from X22 report. I need to go back to watching him. Yes, definitely. Yep, on Rumble. George said, click the link. Sounded like he was live. Could be. Shannon said, hi and welcome to the X22 report. My name is Dave. Anyway. Alicia said, I'm not drunk. I just hit the wrong button while I'm listening, cooking supper and trying to respond. God love you. Menacing Muskrat said, George, yes, that was his latest report. George said, okay, Menacing. Menacing said, Alicia, yes, I'm cooking supper too, watching potatoes so they don't boil over, lol. Darren said, Nigel Farage has been cancelled by his bank and others won't accept him. That should wake a few more up to the digital currency danger. Shannon said, Leisha is in denial about her drunkenness. Tim for an intervention, lol. Time for an intervention, you mean? George said, lol, Menacing, what are you cooking for supper? Shannon said, muskrat stew. Leisha said, thank you, Menacing Muskrat, for the link to X22 on understanding cooking, listening and all. Darren said, don't worry, Muskrat, Biden won't boil over. And Shannon's saying, boing, boing, boing. Oh, Demelza, God love you. Menacing said, Darren Booker, Z from China called Trudeau little potato. I reckon that the president and the leader of the free world is a potato. Unfortunately. He's nearly mashed too. He's nearly a mashed potato. At least his head is. Shannon said multi-musky-tasking. Menacing said, ouch, Shannon. Leisha said, Shannon may have tell you to stop being ugly. You're not being nice, inviting person to this group, and if you've not done wrong or sinned, then you cast that first stone. He's having jokes. Where am I? It jumped again. Shannon, be nice. Even Kai said, Shannon, be nice. I am Kai. He's usually harmless. Shannon says, what when I was not being? Hey, Michelle, how you going? Sherry said, used to hang wallpaper and paint professionally years ago. Got to my back and shoulders. I have fibromyalgia, now can't do it anymore. Yeah, I had a car accident as well as other things happened to me that have stuffed my neck and shoulders and back, and I've got to keep exercising, otherwise it all just seizes up on me. Really. George said, hi Michelle. Leisha said, thank you. I and Kai, we're all human and important. We have the right to speak and hear with him. Oh, definitely, Leisha. He's just like, it's a kind of an Aussie thing that you put, you know, you make fun of people. I don't know. It's just how Aussies are. Michelle Epp said, hi George. I'm Kai. Said, Shannon just plays hard. Shannon said, I was only joking about your drunken typing. Menacing Muskrat said, we're all good today all? Yep, I'm good. How are you guys? I am Kai said, the secret is that there is no free world, not yet. And I'm at the end of the comments. Well done me. Actually got through them all. We haven't seen Alex today, but hope she's doing well as well. And I think, it's been 2 hours, guys. I think I'm going to leave it there. I will be back tomorrow for the normal Friday, Saturday live stream. I will be naming it that, and we'll see what... Look, a lot of news normally comes out on a Friday, I've noticed lately. It's all coming out on a Friday so that everyone's got the weekend to, you know, discuss. But it's all on our side, I think, coming out lately instead of their side for a change. So anyway, thumbs up if you can. Yep, Menacing Muskrat said... Thumbs up, thank you folks. I'm Kai said, I understand Tennessee is listed as the most violent state in the US. Really? Wow. Okay guys, with that, I hope you have a good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Much love to you all. And I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I ain't going back, I'm not falling. I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and we're all going live. Still nobody knows, but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. Back a year ago.